to school fast approaching, so are the rapid spread of germs and viruses in the classroom. KLTV's Madison Myers reports 5 things you can start teaching your children right now to prevent them from getting the entire family sick.
Summer is coming to an end, and that means it's time to start preparing for back to school. Although clothes, shoes, and supplies may be on the top of your list, experts say you should also consider your child's health when returning to the classroom. A few tips: purchasing individual school supplies, washing and cleaning backpacks and supplies at the start of each month, and keeping both sanitation wipes and hand sanitizer in your child's backpack are all essential to their health and wellness throughout the year. UT Tyler nursing instructor Riley Smith says that talking to your child about these things ahead of time will help ensure a safe and healthy school year.
We should also teach them to sneeze and cough into the sleeve of their clothing, not on their hands, to minimize transmission through that hand spread. And then we also want to teach them not to share drinking cups or water bottles or utensils with other children.
Understanding your child's personal health need is also essential to a virus-free school year.
Parents should also be aware that children with underlying respiratory conditions like asthma or who were premature at birth are at the most risk for contracting these respiratory illnesses, so they should talk to their primary care provider about ensuring that their baseline health issues are well managed prior to us entering the winter respiratory illness season.
Nurse Smith and White House ISD Director of Counseling Leanne Barber both say that your child's sleeping schedule also plays a huge role in the preparation of the new year.
Okay, well, just getting prepared, going to sleep on time, and getting bedtime routines together. Very, very important, because some have been staying up so late and sleeping in, and they need to get their time clock and switched a little bit.
Other ways to mentally prepare your child for the school year include eating meals at the time you would eat during the regular school year and talking to your child about their new grade level. It is also recommended to begin reading to your child every day and having an hour window between the last screen time and going to bed. Madison Myers, KLTV 7 News.
Encouraging a healthy diet and limiting sugary snacks is also helpful in preparing your students for back to school.